everybody. Welcome to Season 2 of the Court Reporters Cafe. I am so excited to be back with Season 2. I took the summer months off to kind of just chill and concentrate on my work and my health and things like that. But I tell you, that itch came on really fast and hard to get someone else on here to talk to everybody. And I think we knocked it out of the park because I am bringing to you guys today Michelle Guilbeau and Adria Theriot from AudioScribe. So if you don't know, AudioScribe is a company out of Bow Bridge, Louisiana. They have been in this voice writing world of ours for a very long time, and they're going to get deeper into that with you guys during this. But at the same time, they're also trainers for Dragon. They have Accuspeak. The mask that's out that they have is in high demand. In fact, there's a waiting list, and they will speak to you about that as well. Excuse me. But they're going to talk to you about SpeechCat, which is their software for voice writing. And I will put all information to get in touch with them, websites, TikToks, things like that you can reach out to them and one-on-one talk about these things, because they are super open to just communicating and trying to get you to be the best reporter that you can be. So sit back, grab you a cup of coffee, and just enjoy listening to Adria and Michelle and talking about all the wonderful things that they do. And I will give a quick little codicil here, because we ended up losing Adria, I think, at about halfway through. Something happened with her audio, but she could hear us and listen to us and was texting and things like that. So I hate that happened, but this was take number 2 on getting them on the record with me. So anyway, enjoy, and I hope you are excited about Season 2. And if you have any kind of ideas, comments, suggestions, drop me an email, kmrayreporter@gmail.com. Enjoy.
All right.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello.
Hello. Doing great. Thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thanks
for having us.
Yes.
Well, I know it's been busy and things have been crazy. I was telling Michelle earlier before we went on that I had 3 expedited transcripts within 30 minutes come in.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I'm still trying to get through a jury voir dire. So yeah, it's time to get that scopist working for me.
Absolutely.
But it's private pay, so that's a good thing. I can make a little extra money off of it.
There you go.
But I'm not gonna sit around and chit chat as much as we did last time, because that was so much fun. So just for our listeners, we ended up having some audio problems, so we're doing this again because we love everybody who listens to this. So we're gonna make it the best that we can. So I'm gonna start off by introducing Michelle. Michelle, can you tell everybody who you are, where you live, and who do you work for?
Hi, my name is Michelle Guilbeau. I am the vice president of AudioScribe. I live in Bow Bridge, Louisiana. And that's it.
And that's it. And that's not it. There's so much more. We'll get into that later, I'm sure. And then my next guest is Adria Theriot. Adria, hello.
Hi, it's so good to be here. Thanks for having us, Kim.
I'm so glad you're here. And I know you and Michelle are cousins.
We are.
I did figure out that one. But tell everybody who you are, what you do, etc.
Well, I am Adria Theriot. I am the president of the AudioScribe Corporation. I've been working for AudioScribe for 28 years. Michelle's been with us for 25 years. So we're both long timers. And we basically support core reporters in their everyday work is what we do from day to day. Michelle and I both do training for Dragon Naturally Speaking. We both do training for SpeechCat and Digitran, our custom software for court reporters, and we also do hardware support throughout the day for Dragon,
Right.
Windows, SpeechCat, Digitran, all sorts of things actually that
Yeah.
basically boil down to a court reporter's day.
Sure, sure. And I think that the most important thing or the most interesting thing is how did that get started? I mean, you didn't just wake up one day and say, court reporter, I think we can work with that. I mean, how did that evolve?
That's a great question. You know, my dad, Michelle's uncle, started a company, a computer company in 1973. And he raised us in computers. So you were either going to go to the computer company on Saturday or you were going to go to the office, the lab with my mother, the medical lab. So, you know, you were definitely going to work with one of them on the weekends. And so my brother normally chose the computer company and I normally chose the lab. But as I got older and I started writing poetry, I started going to work with my dad, and I would type up my poetry on the secretary's typewriters. And my dad came up to me one day and said, Adria, I have this thing from IBM. It's called word processor. And if you use it, you can save your poetry so that they don't have to retype it every time you want to share it. And I said, well, Dad, that's cool. And so that is how I learned my first word processor. It did not even have a name. It was made by IBM, and it was orange letters on a black screen. And I was thrilled, I tell you, thrilled.
You were cutting edge. You were just living it.
And so we did that for many, many years. And in 1996, Phil Kaufman, who was a court reporter and owned a court reporting agency here in Louisiana, went to my brother, who was a fraternity brother of his, and said, and he knew that my brother was a programmer. And so he came to Chad and said, Chad, would you please write this for me? I have a vision to use Dragon Naturally Speaking for mask reporters so that they can actually speak into the mask, have it connected to a computer, and have it translate voice into text in real time. And so my brother looked at it and he said, yeah, I can do that. And so he did it. And they worked with a court reporter that worked with Phil by the name of Suzette McGee, who sat with them and helped design the software, the initial software with Phil and Chad. And then they called me in early 1997 and said, Adria, would you help us write the manuals, and would you help us talk to the people, and would you help us run the office, and would you help us? And I said, listen, I'll give you 30% of my time, but I'm already busy. So, you know, 30% of my time is what I can spare. And so that quickly went from 30% to 130%. And my job with the computer company, my dad's company, sort of faded into the background, and AudioScribe became all-encompassing.
So it wasn't like you were a court reporter and somebody said, oh, we got an idea. It was just, here's what, I mean, first of all, anybody who's a court reporter that wakes up and says, I would like to have a device that I can speak into a mask, and it comes out, I mean, blows my mind, right? Because when I think that way, when I get up, I feel like I need to get out more often. You know what I'm saying? I'm too involved in my work. I'm too whatever. Okay, Kim, you got to chill. You got to go to the lake and sit on a boat somewhere for a little while. It does happen, though. I will say that. But at the same time, I mean, anybody that comes to you with something like that, how can you not respect that?
Yeah, it would.
Right?
It was really a very interesting thing to all of us. It was what one of our first customers, a lady by the name of Kay Butler, she was one of our first 5 customers, and Kay and her husband Toby always used to say, They used to refer to our technology as bleeding edge technology.
Bleeding edge.
Bleeding edge. Because we were all bleeding through it, you know?
Oh, yeah. You're not just cutting, you're bleeding.
In
You're
the early
hemorrhaging.
days, there was a lot of blood going around.
Yes. Yes. God, that's so great. Well, tell me then, how did you pull Michelle into this? Because I'm sure Michelle is so thankful at this point in her life.
I got lucky. I got so
You got lucky.
Michelle was not living at home. Michelle had been traveling with her family, her husband, and her children. She had been living outside of Louisiana. So her mother told me that she was coming home. And I just so happened to be visiting with my aunt and her mother, and she told me that she was coming home. And I said, well, that's great. I can't wait to see her, because she and I had always been close. As close as we could be. We never lived in the same city. We never lived in the same.
Right.
But every time we were together, we were just as close as thieves. So
yeah,
I was thrilled that she was coming home, but I had no clue what she did. Because when we got together, we visited about family, and we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
So she said, well, you know what she does, right? Well, it wasn't until after she got home, and she had been home for a while, and I was having lunch with her mother again, and she told me, you know, she works in computers. And I said, what did you say? She said, she works in computers. I said, well, what does she do? And she said, well, I don't know. You know, she works. I said, give me her number. So that night I called her and I said, Mushy, what do you do? And she told me, and I said, Mushy, please come work with me.
Oh my God. She set that Louisiana catfish trap for you.
Yeah. I was not above begging. I was not.
Oh, no. Who is?
And she was kind enough to say she would come and look. She would look into it. She made no immediate promises. But she said she'd come
So,
into
Michelle, I have to know, what was your first, I mean, she told me your response, but what was your first thought when that came up?
Well, I had worked for a company before that was a family company, and the person who was immediately above me, her and Adria, and I think I've told this to Adria before, she was very, like if I changed the font in a document, she got upset. And so, you know, not having worked with Adria, I didn't know how it was going to be. And of course, Adria was like, you can change whatever you want as long as it's correct. But at first, it was because it was a family company, I was a little leery. But it was my family.
Sure.
It was people that I loved.
Yeah.
So I decided to give it a shot. You know, I was basically reinventing my life again at this point. So why not jump off the edge and go into the bleeding edge technology and see
the bleeding edge technology,
see where it goes. And it was
well, you know what, and this is going to sound so hokey to some people, but I believe I'm a Christian woman, and I am a Southern Christian woman, and so I believe that God opens doors for us. It's up to us to walk through them.
Yes.
And to get rid of that fear to walk through them. So do you feel, because I would be scared, now this may just be my family, I would be scared to work with my family. My brother would be dead in like 2 minutes. I'd be sitting here looking at my watch. But was that afraid? Yeah, were you afraid about that?
I was. I didn't want to damage the relationships that I had. You know, and so I was scared. I was optimistic, but I was leery, and it wound up being the best thing I've ever done. You know, with the way my husband moved around, I was never able to really have a long-term career, and so I fell into this, and you know, I've been here 25 years now. So,
and was your husband in the military? Is that what you told me?
He worked for Walmart. And they moved us around quicker than the military. We moved within every year and a half. So,
holy cow!
Yes. So, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
But he was willing to move up, and that's why we moved around so much, because he was trying to, you know, better his career.
Well, are you still married to this person? Okay, so at least he was upwardly mobile.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so we'll say that
Yes.
about him,
Many ways.
which is a good thing. Anywho, so yeah. So one of the things that really, besides the fact that I'm from Mississippi, y'all are from Louisiana, I have Louisiana ties to that kind of drew me to your company is the fact that y'all are a family company. You are not mass producing stuff. You are not putting the blame on something else. If something is wrong with your masks, if something is wrong with this, then okay, we're going to go in there and we're going to fix it. We're going to make things right. And I think that's a big problem nowadays. Do y'all, I mean, at the risk of sounding conspiratorial, I'm not. I just feel like that's a big thing. We don't find a lot of hands-on, homegrown companies anymore, right?
Right. It's funny, when I first
Yeah.
started working for the company, I used to call us, say that we were Silicone Swamp. But it's all about it's all about accountability, and that's one thing Uncle Roy always said, you never want to look back at your competition or your enemies. You always want to face forward and do the best that you can do for your company and your customers. And that's been a motto that we've lived by for 25 years now.
Yeah. I mean, that should be important to people. I think at a point in our lives, and especially today, we look at convenience, right? If I can order something on Amazon, it's here tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. And then we have to return it, and then we have to do whatever. So, I mean, I've ordered my masks directly from the people that built it or whatever. So, including my Talk Tech. But y'all's was the only company that I ordered from, and I got a direct response. Y'all did not know me from Adam. People say, yeah, but you have a podcast. You had mentoring and menting. No, they didn't know me from Adam, and I don't go to the top of the list. I don't do anything, but here's what we have. Here's what's going to happen. We'll get it to you in 3 weeks. So I'm prepared at all times. I have backups to my backups to my backups, so I could wait for however long it would take me to get it, because I knew it was worth it. And I have people who email me, is it worth it? Is it worth to wait for the Accuspeak? And I say, just like I do with any of my training, that this is the way I do things. This is what works for me. I don't get paid by Accuspeak. I don't get paid by TalkTech. I don't get paid by Eclipse. I tell you what works for me, and I'll give you something honest about that. And I know at this point there are a ton of people wanting to order. So where are you at in that chain of things? How many people are wanting to order? What does your delivery look like at this point?
Well,
Go ahead, Michelle.
right now we
Michelle's
have
in the every day. I'm not.
we have well over 120 on our list. And that does not count the ones who are ordering too. And no one gets priority. Even our customers don't get priority. You go in the list, the way that the list, the way that you come in is how you go into the list. And so, like, I had someone today who, his mask, someone gave it to him and it went out. And he's like, "Can I get another one?" I was like, "I'm sorry, but you're looking at least, I mean, at this point, probably at least 6 months, if not 9 months, because Monday we're getting a shipment of our microphones, and we're hoping to be able to produce 70 or 75, depending on, because we have to keep microphones for repairs. But, even that list is going to take that's going to take at least a month to fulfill that 75 microphone mask.
Sure.
And I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, but
No, you're
yeah,
fine.
so
I think people want to hear this. That's
yeah,
important.
and
The microphones are very, they take a long time to produce.
yes,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
that's the crux of the matter. We have to wait 3 months when we order the microphones before they come in.
Well, I think it is two things that people forget nowadays is patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. We have to be that way anyway as court reporters. We have to be patient intrinsically. Is that the word? We have to be
Right.
patient because we deal with this kind of crap every day where we're dealing with wait, and then we go, and then we wait. So if it's something that you really want, it's worth waiting for.
Yes.
I think I told you guys this before, is I have never had one of my Accuspeak mask get completely saturated, ever. If I notice that things are starting to look a little wonky when I'm taking down, I take into consideration, number one, how are you talking, Kim?
Right.
How are you talking? Are they going so fast that you're not recognizable to Dragon? Or are you saturated? Those are my two things. And it always starts with
Very
me.
wise.
Yeah, you have to start with yourself because, the buck stops here, right? We have to be able to say, I'm going to put myself first and foremost. I'm responsible for getting that record down and guarding it, right? So that's a huge thing for me. But at the same time, people are so quick to blame their technology.
Well, and
That's true.
like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And, don't be afraid. If you have problems, you should call your CAT software because, like I had someone call the other day and said, I need to reinstall the software. It's not working. And it wound up being the equipment that he was using had Windows quit recognizing it. And so
Yeah.
it's not always the software that fails. It's the equipment. And when it's the mask, it could be the mask. It could be the USB that you connect the mask to. It could be that your dictation source in Dragon doesn't match the one that you're supposed to be using. All of those.
There's so many different levels. Yeah, I get that because I've had it happen. I've had it happen to where I listen to my voice file and I hear nothing but crackling, and I thought, okay, maybe it's my first thought was maybe it's my sound card. So I replace the sound card, I plug it in, same thing. So that narrows it down to a wire in my mask is just shooting off the wrong way.
And the most common thing to do to eliminate everything but the mask is plug into a handheld digital recorder and do a test that way because it eliminates everything but the mask.
Yeah. Absolutely. That is great
advice. And in
advice.
situations where it's intermittent static, I don't have a mask on my desk, but I take the mask while I'm recording and I take the wires coming out of the mask and just wiggle them back and forth because if the static, if the wires go bad, it's usually right there. And so if you move them around, you can see, like in our software, you can see the lines going into the red. On the digital recorder, when you play it back, you're going to hear, and then you can hear words, and then. So if ever you have him, if, and repetitive words, that's usually indicative of static from the wire being bad.
Yeah, I've had the same thing, and then I look at my computer and it's him. And then I realize that one of the cords from my mask is kind of tucked underneath my leg because I'm spinning, I'm looking, and so I'm putting some tension on that. I don't have it so much with the Accuspeak, and I'm not just saying that I'm not blowing smoke. I'm just telling y'all. I have not had it with my Accuspeak as much as I had it with my TalkTech. And I love the old school Talk Tech. I
Yes.
loved everything about it, but the new one is crap. And if you're going to put a mic, the size of less than the size of a dime next to my mouth, does it not just make sense that that thing is going to drown in moisture in a short period of time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the size of y'all's microphones that go in there. It's really, really great. But at the same time, what I want to know is, did both of you guys learn how to dictate in a mask? I know you don't have a court reporter's background, but did you play with the mask? Did you see, oh my God, this is good, this is where we are?
Oh yes, we've both studied with court reporters. Remember, all of our trainers are court reporters. Aside from Michelle and I, all of our trainers are court reporters. So as Michelle and I trained court reporters over the years, they've basically trained us. And we have, both Michelle and I have done extensive work with Real-Time Coach over the years. And we have both developed our own user profiles to very high accuracy level.
Awesome.
We like.
How about you, Michelle? What do you feel about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
At some point, we were working with a reporter, and I went home one night and I took the old Talk Tech, the Martel, and the Accuspeak all home. And I stayed up all night trying each of the different masks, the different seals, the different USBs. That's when I came up for me with the technique of turning the overnose seal upside down, because it gave me better recognition, and figured out which mask that worked best for me. And at that point, because I'm a whisperer, I know that's not good, but that's how I learned. And
it has to happen sometimes.
Right. And so that old Talk Tech mask is what I use. Now, I've had better results in the last year with the Accuspeak than I've ever had before, but I'm one of those people who don't like change very much. And so
I hear you.
someone someone give me an old Talk Tech mask, so now I have two. So I may never give it up.
Girl, I'm telling you, at this point, I have two old school masks.
Yeah.
I have two old school masks that I'm keeping, and I have one of the newer ones, and so those are my backups.
Okay, right.
I have backups, and then I use my Accuspeak on the daily in court. But I have people that will literally sell me a kidney for an old school Talk Tech.
Well,
and I'm like, I don't need it yet, but if I do.
Well, and the thing about it is, like, for me, the reason it hasn't been a problem, because moisture is a problem with everyone with the Talk Tech, from what I understand. And the reason it's not a problem for me is I don't dictate for 2 hours at a time. At most, I dictate for an hour, but most of the time it's 30 minutes that I dictate for.
Well, I think what people don't understand is I can literally take my Talk Tech mask, unplug it from my sound card, put another one in. I always keep an extra mask next to me, plug it into my sound card, because what Dragon is recognizing is that sound card.
Right.
So when I plug it in, it's like nothing ever happened. I can sit there, I'll dictate. I have a digital recorder that's doing the room. I'll do all the things, but then I jump back on, plug in my new one when things get saturated. But I honestly, like I said, I am not blowing smoke. I have never had to do that with the Accuspeak, because it is far enough away from my mouth that the moisture does not condensate right there.
It does, yes. And I think that the way that the breathing tube is also helpful, that it's down at the bottom. The old Talk Tech was that way.
It was, and it was beautiful. So when the new one came out, I couldn't even fit a straw in there to kind of help direct things. It was now, the only thing with the Accuspeak is sometimes and don't tell anybody I said this, but I can sit back in my chair while I'm doing this, and I end up turning sideways, and the Accuspeak mask gets up against my
Okay.
chest, and it sucks the air out.
Oh.
And I'm and I'm like, wait, I can't breathe. Oh crap. Okay, I can do that.
You got to make sure not to block the tube.
I know. And I'm like, what if I turn it upside down? No, then all the moisture will collect in a well
Right,
there at the
right.
bottom. But no, it's just me. It's by the time you're done with something, you're so tired. You're like, oh my God. I mean, literally today I did this 2.5 hour condemnation of land, and I would like look outside the window next to me, and I'd put my head down, and it would like, oh God, I can't breathe. So yeah, I get it. That's just I'm getting
Right.
tired, I'm getting lazy, whatever. But what I want to talk about too, I want to talk about more about your SpeechCat, things like that, things that people, another option to something else. What can you tell me about SpeechCat?
So SpeechCat was well, little bit of backstory. SpeechCat was the first cat software to be introduced onto the market in 97.
Mm-hmm.
And so our software does cart captioning. Oh, sorry. Adria can
That's okay.
hear us, but she can't see us.
Okay. Okay.
So SpeechCat does cart captioning, court reporting, all in one package for one price.
Mm-hmm.
We also, it's the only cat software that is written just for voice writers. So when you go through and you look through the documentation, you're not going to find things that are relating to stenography.
Okay.
We have a feature for official court reporters called Bust Out, which allows you to go in and take cattle call, for example, multiple cases, one after the other, and
Your calendar call.
and bust out just a small portion of it, which takes the audio and the text and copies it, creates another job for it while leaving the original job intact so that you can produce stuff later on.
Right.
Let's see. We have things like Secure Case, which is a feature that was written for the military and grand jurors so that the whole of the case would be stored on an external drive so no information would stay on the computer. Because at some point we had a reporter who could not leave the courtroom with her computer because it was such high security. It was not. Sorry, it just told me there was an internet problem.
No, I can see you and hear you.
And so we have the Secure Case feature. What else?
Well, you have Digitran.
Oh, yes.
Right?
We have Digitran. And Digitran is a digital recording software that can record up to 6 channels of audio. And it has the ability, if utilized in conjunction with Dragon, to take your voice track, or to be honest, take any track, run it through Dragon, and give you the text. And so
that's awesome.
And so for someone who is trying to get into real time but doesn't want, a lot of people are, well, and it used to be that way. Now that they're learning real time in school, people aren't scared. But people used to be afraid for the text to come up on the screen and it not be right and someone looking over their shoulder.
Right.
So Digitran gives you a way to have that just after the fact. And you click on a button and Dragon takes the file and it transcribes it for you. And it takes roughly, like if it's a 1 hour job, it takes approximately 45 minutes. So it takes 3/4 of the time that it took you to take down. So you pretty much click on transcribe, let the computer do its thing and go about your business.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's awesome, though. So, what would you say that AudioScribe is most proud of? Would it be training? Would it be whatever? I mean, what do you think they're most proud of?
Well, I think that most people equate us with our quality customer service. We have our
Mm-hmm.
customer service and our documentation. Our documentation is written in a way, we have pictures to go along with everything, so it's easy to understand. And of course, um, we have we have excellent training as well. And when you purchase our software outright, one-on-one training comes with our software. Um,
That's amazing.
different depending on what you buy. With SpeechCat, you get 16 hours. With Digitran, I think you might get 5. Because there's quite a cost difference between those two, and it's not in a
Mm-hmm.
seminar setting. We can do online training, which is
Mm-hmm.
mostly what we do nowadays. We used to do a lot of in-house
Mm-hmm.
training where people would travel to us, and we'd have um, you know, one or large groups of people, say large groups, no more than 4 people training at one time.
Mm-hmm.
But the one-on-one training is really effective because, it's catered basically. I usually cater the training, and Adria does too, to the individual that we're working with. What is it that you need? We have an agenda, but let's focus on the things like if someone is already using the software, the things that they don't understand and the things that they need help with
Right.
so that they can learn and move forward and use the software to the best of their ability.
Yeah, I mean, don't you find that people are at different levels and what they understand and what they need can be completely different?
Yes, that's why one-on-one training is
Yeah.
so important because, recently we had a group of 3 court reporters from a court, and 2 of the reporters didn't want to train with the other one because the other one was all over the place.
More
She
new?
was all over
Oh,
the
she was more
she
new and
wasn't new,
yeah.
but she just didn't pay attention very well. And so
Sure. But people learn at different
That's
paces. I
that's why the
mean,
ability to have the one-on-one training be a part of the package is so important.
yeah.
So, and even if you start out a training with multiple people and you feel like you're either getting held back or getting left behind, you can always pivot and go to one-on-one training.
Mhm.
So,
Right. I mean, you guys do separate dragon training, right? So you could not necessarily be training in Accuscribe, but you could be training just for dragon
yes.
recognition.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you finding, like I'm hearing, a lot of people are not getting the dragon puzzle piece, especially in California, and I am not dissing anybody out there, but but voice writers are not training voice writers for the
Right.
most part in California. So they're not learning about Dragon and that piece that talks to their
Well,
software.
Dragon is so important because if you don't ever work on your recognition, it'll never improve. And so if you don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to train words, you don't know how to feed Dragon, you don't know how to do corrections to improve accuracy, your recognition is going to stay stagnant. And so it's
Yeah.
important to know how to facilitate getting better recognition, and training would definitely help that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And how many trainers do you have with your company?
Well, so Adria and I are the 2 in-house trainers, and I think we have about 4 or 5 um,
Mm-hmm.
trainers around the country. Um,
Yeah. And these people, these trainers, including you and Adria, you're able to take someone who is not on AccuSpeak but want dragon training,
on SpeechCat.
right? On
Yes.
SpeechCat. Can you do a dragon training just in general that's not connected to their software, their cat
Yes.
software?
I've worked with
Okay.
people locally that use other
Mhm.
softwares. Um, and it helps to know, like, for example, you use Eclipse. the way Eclipse handles markers is different than the way we handle markers. And I believe that Case Catalyst handles markers the way we do. And markers.
Now, when you say markers, what do you mean?
Keek and CAC, SPE1, SPE2.
Okay. Your briefs.
Yeah, we call them markers. And so knowing how to handle that for the different CAT softwares is important, because I would never want to affect how Dragon works with your CAT software, because that's an important piece of the puzzle. And so, yes, we can definitely do training. It helps if the people in the training use the same software. Like if I had two people who use CaseCat, for example, it would be helpful than having someone with Eclipse, someone with CaseCat, someone with ProCat, you know.
So if some students from a school and they all use CaseCat, and let's say there's 4 of them, and they want to do Dragon training with you guys, that would be easier than if you were to like branch off into Eclipse and everything else. You can do all CaseCat in one thing.
That's correct.
Gotcha. And that makes sense. I mean, I've done one-on-one training with Tori, and it helped me so much better because I was at a different level at that time than other people. And so I didn't want these other people to sit around, you know, painting their fingernails and checking their emails while I'm talking. It should be something that's conducive for all of us, that we all can get something from.
And, you know, like when we do seminars, we do seminars every year before convention, and it tends to be that way because we have people who come every year to our seminars. And, you know, they might be checking their email because they already use this feature, or they don't need to use this feature. And so as long as they're not interrupting the rest of the class, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. I get that. When you're at conventions, would you be able to find time? And the only reason I'm talking about this, because I think conventions are so important for people to network with each other. But if somebody came to you after a class get together and teaching and whatever, if somebody came to you and said, Michelle, I would really love to do some one-on-one.
You froze.
Oh, I lost you. Where are you? There you are. You went completely away. I was like,
you did too.
No, that's it's okay. So would somebody be able to come to you and say, Michelle, I want some one-on-one training at that time?
Well, usually, unfortunately, when we go to convention, it usually is pretty, like once the convention starts, our schedules are usually pretty tight. But we usually have the Wednesday or the Thursday available. So I would suggest that if someone were going to convention, to reach out and we could schedule something the day, like if convention starts on Thursday, it usually doesn't start until the afternoon. And we could do something on Thursday, or we could do Wednesday is usually our day off, because we usually get there on Sunday, do seminars Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday is our quote day off because we're not doing seminars.
Right, but it's also important for self-care. All of us need to learn that we have to have a day for us.
Yes.
I get it. I'm having one of those weeks myself, but at the same time, I know people at convention, which I think you would reiterate with me. Convention is so important because of the networking opportunities.
Absolutely.
And you get hyped up. I remember as a hairdresser for 25 years, I would go to hair shows and get pumped up. I couldn't wait to go home and try something new and do whatever. And I think we all get that from convention because we're so solitary in our jobs that we have to be able to have people that connect and know what we're talking about when we say, my CAT system is really messing with me. And people in the real world look at us like we're from Mars. But someone other that is in this community with us, they're like, you know what, I get you. I'm the same way. And it gives us that feeling of self-satisfaction that we're okay. We're not crazy. I get it. So next year's convention for NBRA is going to, looks like in Little Rock in Arkansas.
Right.
I'm assuming you guys will be there.
We most likely will be there. It's a 8-hour drive for us, so it's, not going to be.
That's not too bad. That's
It
doable.
is doable.
Doable.
Yes.
Yeah. Same here. I'm hoping that I'll be able to go, and I hate that we lost Adria during this. We had to go through this, but she's listening to us, but she can't say anything for some reason. But you know what, Michelle, I met you in San Antonio, and I did not have any time because I was running around like crazy, but I'm hoping and praying that physically I can be able to be there in Little Rock next July, and that we can get to know each other a little bit better. And I thank you so much for taking this time to talk with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you both, and Adria knows that, and I'm going to put all the links in the show notes for people to get in touch with you, for people to catch up with y'all on social media, and we just all need to work together to make better court reporters at this point.
Absolutely.
There you go. Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate you so much coming on tonight, and we will talk soon.
Okay. Have a good night.
All right.